On one hand, they convinced the Roman rulers that Isa posed a great threat to their position, and on the other, they propagated among the people that he was a renegade and a magician. It was as if Lucifer, Iblis himself, was manifest among the so-called clergy. When Isa's close companion Judas Iscariot sold his master for a mere 30 coins, Allah caused Isa to be bodily removed from this earth, and the traitor Judas was made to look identical to him. As punishment for his hypocrisy, Judas was the one to meet his death on the cross. After Isa's departure, Palestine became a very dangerous place for his disciples, who then fled to nearby different areas. Sometime after this, an erstwhile Jew named Paul claimed to bring faith in Isa's teachings. However, in light of his consequent actions, the true motive for his conversion is put to doubt. The messenger Isa was only sent for the Bani Israelis, and as such, he forbade his disciples to even approach anyone outside their group. Yet, this was exactly what Paul started to do. He convinced the other disciples to follow him into bringing people of other faiths into a new religion they called Christianity. As it was very difficult and dangerous for them to preach this revised new version among the Bani Israelis in Palestine, Paul and his group then set out to convert people of different European areas to this faith. At that time, most of Europe were worshippers of different gods and goddesses, and even natural elements. They realized this new faith was far better in comparison to their existing ideas, and gradually most of Europe, along with the elite ruling class, converted to the new religion called Christianity.
Dear friends, we hope that it is now clear before you how devil Iblis has lured mankind into straying from the Siratul Mustaqim, the Tawhid sent from Allah, and slithered into pits of injustice, inequality, repression, and turmoil in their social lives. They perverted faith to suit their ends. Allah, in His mercy, has sent long chains of messengers, Nabis and Rasuls, to retain mankind within the folds of Tawhid. Whenever a new messenger has arrived with clear-cut proof from Allah, it has always been the clergy type from among the followers of the existing faith that turned out as the severest opponents of the new messenger. In this way have emerged many new religions. However, the faith of Christianity did not occur following this pattern. It seems to have followed a carefully thought-out plan altogether. If anyone brings faith in a particular Nabi or Rasul, it would be logical to think that he would respect and abide by the limits or regulations set by that Nabi himself. But Paul did exactly the opposite of what Isa alayhi salam had preached and insisted upon, spreading the religion of Christianity among people outside the Bani Israelis. In course of time, it is this Pauline Christianity that gave birth to the hardcore materialistic society, which the Messenger of Allah has described as the Dajjal. The Messenger of Allah has placed immense importance on the gravity of the Dajjal. Therefore, to get a clear understanding of his mission and the stress he has imparted on this particular issue, let us try to gauge the situation of his time and the objectives of his arrival.
The progeny of Ismail ﷺ, the son of Ibrahim ﷺ, were the inhabitants of the city of Mecca in Arabia. Throughout a long history of thousands of years, the changes they brought in the Sharia of Ismail had left little in resemblance to the actual faith. The house of the one God, Kaaba, was humiliated with the presence of numerous idols of various gods and goddesses. Yet they still claimed to be the followers of Ibrahim, said their prayers as taught by him, performed the Hajj and observed Sawm. They called themselves Abdullah, or the servants of Allah. They invoked the blessings of Allah before starting anything new, and even circled the Kaaba chanting Labbaik, Allahumma Labbaik. Despite all this, in their collective social lives, they had forsaken the directives of the Almighty and governed their lives in accordance to the regulations and rules imposed by the ruling class, mainly the Quraysh. In this situation, the Almighty fulfilled His promise to the progeny of Ibrahim and sent the most revered of all messengers into the family of Ismail. As a young child, Rahmatan lil Alameen was raised in the wild beauty of the deserts. Till the proclamation of the message, Nabuwat, he enjoyed a most honored and enviable position among the Makkans as the As-Sadiq, the truthful one. Yet, everything changed for him when the duty of a messenger from Allah was laid on his shoulders. No sooner had he declared La ilaha illallah, there is none to be obeyed other than Allah, no claimant of sovereignty save him, than the Makkans turned their backs on him. The person who for 40 years had been known to them as Al-Amin became infamous as a magician, a renegade, a liar, a madman. People who called themselves to be the Millat Ibrahim, followers of the Hanifi faith, turned their wrath on the small number of movements who declared to preach Tawheed, sovereignty of the Maker. Yet, despite all their efforts and persecution, they could not deter the Messenger of Allah or his small band of followers from the path of Tawheed. After suffering 13 long years at the hands of tribal chieftains, the elite ruling class of Makkah and the clergy, the Messenger of Allah was ordered to migrate to the city of Medina. Where he was warmly welcomed by all and laid the foundation for the first Muslim state to be governed on the principles of Allah's sovereignty. In the next phase, he established the law of life based on Tawheed throughout the entire peninsula of Arabia, and this he accomplished through a series of armed battles and skirmishes. He had been sent with a mission to establish Dinul Haq on this entire world, to achieve which he created a nation of warriors, a fearless, undaunted, undefeatable group of people whose sole aim in life was to die in battle. After the departure of the Messenger of Allah, the responsibility of establishing Dinul Haq on this world came to his followers, his people, and they rose magnificently to the task. In less than half a century, they conquered and subsequently brought under the banner of Tawheed more than half the landmass of the world. The world saw an era of peace and tranquility it had never known before. This is the true history of mankind. The perpetual fight between